says that the first Beis Hamikdash was destroyed because the Yidden in that generation had committed the three big averos: Avodah Zarah, Gibur Arayos, and Shvichas Damim. But the Gemara says that during the second Beis Hamikdash, the Yidden were not guilty of those averos. If so, why was the Beis Hamikdash destroyed? And the Gemara says that they shahayu behem sinas china. The reason is because that generation, although in Adam Lamakim they were doing all the right things, but they had sinas chinam, and it was because of sinas chinam that the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. If you look carefully at the Gemara, Mesechtes Yuma, the Gemara says as follows: Avol Bayis Sheni, the second Beis Hamikdash, shayu oiskim b'Torah u'b'gemilos chasadim. They were learning Torah and they were doing chesed. Why was it destroyed? And the Gemara says because they had sinas chinam. So if you think about it, it's very, very shver. If this generation was oisik in chesed, that means they cared about other people. They were looking to do good. The Gemara has made it on this generation that they were oiskim b'gemilos chesed. So if they did chesed, how does it shtim with what the Gemara says in the same breath that they had sinas chinam? But the emphasis, it's mavur in the Gemara, a very, very big chiddush. But if you think about it, it's something very obvious, and that is that a person could do chesed and do chesed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you love the person that you're doing chesed with. It's not a stira. You can be a gomel chesed, and at the same time, you could also have sinas chinam. Some sofer in the Nord says, sorry, I don't know if it's far enough, I put it on my phone, that the pasuk says, chinam min karten, v'loy bekesed tigayevu. It's a pasuk in Yeshaya Perek Nun Beis. So the Chassam Sofer teaches as follows. He says, Chinam min karten. Klal Yisrael was sold because of the fact that we had sinas chinam. That's why we were sold into Golus. That's why the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. But the emesis says, the Chassam Sofer, what's the pshat? We had sinas chinam, but didn't we do tzedakah? Didn't we do chesed? The Gemara says we did chesed. So it says the Chassam Sofer, yeah. But being that we had sinas chinam, so all the chesed that was done didn't count. And that's what loy bekesed tigayevu. So even though the Yidden, they paid money, even though the Yidden gave tzedakah, but being that it was chinam in karten, being that they had sinas chinam, the fact that they did chesed, it didn't really mean so much. And then the Chassam Sofer talks a little bit, I'll just mention one line. It's scary. He says that today I look around, I see a lot of chesed. But the rachmanis that Yidden have today is on an oni. You see an Araman, you see a person, he's a patzar dementia. Okay, so you faginin, you have rachmanis on him a little bit. But if that same person would have parnasa, the same person that has rachmanis on him would hate it. And therefore, even if you give him stock, it doesn't have the same effect. It's possible for a person to do chesed, but at the same time, not necessarily have ahavas Yisrael. The Beis Hamikdash was destroyed not because the Yidden didn't do chesed. They did do chesed. The reason the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed was because of sinas chinam. It was because Yidden didn't love their fellow Jew. And that's what caused the Korban Beis Hamikdash, and that's what we need to fix if we're going to bring the Beis Hamikdash back. Luzy was nifter on Rosh Chodesh Av, which is, of course, the Yartzeit of Ahar Nakoyin. The Mishnah says about Ahar Nakoyin that Ahar Nakoyin was an Oyeves Habriyos u'mekarvim l'Torah. Mishnah also says he was an Oyev Shalom, the Roiv of Shalom, but he was an Oyeves Habriyos u'mekarvim l'Torah. Avraham Avinu, Ahar Nakoyin did chesed. He was mekarv people l'Torah, which as far as say is the ultimate chesed. But he didn't just do chesed. The chesed came from his Ahavas Habriyos. He was a true Oyeves Habriyos. You know, I had the schus to spend really almost my entire life on a daily basis with Luzy. We started off together in Chassam Sofer Elementary School, Tartumima High School, Tartumima Beis Medrash, and we veered off for a couple of years, and eventually we were business partners for the last 13 years. And I literally would speak to Luzy the entire day. If we weren't in the same office, we spoke 10 times a day. Usually we were traveling together, doing road trips for business together, staying in hotels together. And I got to know Luzy really, 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 really well. And the Ahavas Habriyos that Luzy had was absolutely unfathomable. Really, really was. To say you couldn't talk Lashon Hara with Luzy was a mashal. You know what it means to be on a 3-hour road trip? You can't speak Lashon Hara. It's not so simple. What are you talking about? We covered the daf, we did Mishnayos Ahalis, we did everything. Now we were Mavasedra, we listened to music. At some point you have to talk shnisim. But with Luzy, it didn't work. And the reason Luzy didn't speak Lashon Hara wasn't mitzad Hilchas Gemilas Chasadim. It was because he was an Oyev Sabrius. He really had an incredible Ayin Tov. He loved everybody. He forginned everybody. He just had ahava even for the nachrish of the shuk. Every single person that Luzy interacted with, he had real ahava for. He was a real oivus abrius. He wasn't just mekara people. He didn't just do chesed. He did a tremendous amount of chesed. But it came from a real place. It came from the ahava that's going to bring back the Beis Hamikdash. He was a real oivus abrius. Not a coincidence. L'chayra. That Luzy's Yartzeit is the Yartzeit of Ahar Nakoyim, mamish mitamlidav shel Ahar Nakoyim, in the sense that he was an Oyevus Habrius, and he was a Mekarben L'Torah. Just yesterday, I received an email from a person that I don't know. See, it's being recorded, so I won't mention his name. But somebody sent me the following email. It says, K'void Reb Sruly Shlita. I must be slow in my perception, but I recently realized that the Shiurim are L'zecha Nishmas, the beloved Luzy. Growing up, he was my neighbor, and occasionally came over to help, simply because Luzy was Luzy. I heard, albeit vaguely, of your relationship with him, and I can't wrap my brain around how this precious gem was taken for us. Obviously, Hashem needed him more than we did. I don't know how someone so close to him like you were can move on with life. True, Nicham Avelim is in a chama process that the Rebbeinu Shalom put in the bria for the family, and it's a bracha for them. But friends never ever get nisnach. Keep on doing what you're doing. B'chulu, chazak ve'ematz. I don't know who sent me this email. I've been giving this year for the last year. The Ilu Nishmas Chaim Elazar and Yavot Chaim Tov and Shimshon Aryeh. And from time to time, people come over to me and they tell me B'zeh Lashon. I don't really like to share so much, but I know it's Ilu Nishmas Luzy, so I listen. True story, by the way. I've gotten that more than 5 times. But this, I literally just got yesterday, and it's true, we miss Luzy very dearly. There isn't a day that goes by that several times, I personally don't think of him. There's, for me, a tremendous void in my life. I wasn't planning on coming to the Yartzeit at Steinmetz, and I just woke up Sunday morning and I said, there's just no way I had to come. I had to come for Luzy. I had to come for my personal closure. I felt that it was very important. I just couldn't not be here. So we miss Luzy very much. I know one thing, Luzy was an Oyevus Habrius on the highest degree, and everyone in this room has a beit, has a Meilitz Yosher, and he should talk to be Meilitz Yosher. He should show the love that he showed for everybody, especially for his Nunte, Yedidim, to us, and he should bring Yeshuas for the entire family, he should bring the Chama for the entire family, and we should always get together.
Amen.